everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Yeah,
This is our first time coming to you in 2025. My name is Noelle, and this is my friend,
Kelly.
And we are a mostly knitting podcast coming to you both this time from Southwestern Ontario, Canada. So first podcast into 2025. I wonder how long. We don't even hardly write the date anymore, though, because we don't write, we type, right? I can remember years before, you always used to be those first checks that you would write. You'd always write with the wrong date on it.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited about 2025, though, because I think I said this before, 5 and any multiple of 5 is one of my favorite numbers. It's numbers I feel good about. So 2025 just has a really good ring to it for me. I feel really comfortable, and I've been excited to write it any chance I get. So
well, anyway, we hope you all had a wonderful New Year's. I actually stayed up till 10. So
we rang in New Year's at 9 o'clock on the West Coast because that's midnight here for you. So we were able to, we watched, what did we watch? We watched the New York ball drop.
Okay.
We watched, well, first we started the day, we watched the New Zealand fireworks. We watched the Sydney, Australia fireworks. We watched some fireworks from China. But then at 9 o'clock, we sort of rang in our New Year out there because we had to be on the plane at 5:40 in the morning, which meant leaving the house at 4. So we didn't stay up for midnight, although I was still awake at midnight, but we weren't up and trotting about.
I figured it was midnight somewhere so I could go to bed.
That's right. It definitely was. Definitely. So yeah. So do you have like any big plans for 2025 or...
Do I?
I know you have some traveling.
I do. Well, actually, we just went to CAA yesterday and booked our flights because I have a trip to Copenhagen, Sweden, and Norway that starts towards the end of April. So I think it's April the 21st until May the 7th. So I'm excited about that. And then later on in the year, we have a boat and cycling trips again in Croatia this year. So that'll be in September. So those are both now fully booked, ready to go. And yeah, so that'll be exciting. I know the time, you think it's so long away, and then the time just gets here just like that. So
no. I don't have any specific plans booked in yet. I know that we're going. I know that we're traveling. We don't have dates yet.
Yeah,
I don't know what. No, not yet. Okay. Throw a dart.
So I said to Ross while we were booking yesterday, I'm like, well, maybe we should go somewhere else too. And he's like, this is enough for now. So,
well, I like to do some aways, but then I like to do some like kind of not so away. Like the one spot that I didn't get to this year that I try to get to every year was Sedona in Arizona. And so that's definitely on my list to go to. And so like that's a sort of near for me. It's not too far. It's a short plane ride. I'm anticipating some additional trips back out west, of course, to visit out there. And then I know that we have a little weekend away in Montreal coming up.
Yep.
We'll be going to Knit City, you and I, and that's in May. And I don't know what our big away trip will be this year. We haven't figured that out. We are looking at doing another 3-week camping trip in the summer with friends to this time do the Blue Ridge Mountains. And I've been down through that area before, but to take 3 weeks doing it, I haven't done it to that extent. So I would be looking forward to that too. So yeah, we've got lots of traveling planned as well. And
Ross says that he's not going to work as much this summer. So we will see.
You'll see if there's a third trip then. Yes, I know. You might have to take a job.
So no.
Julia just reminded us that she's looking forward to the Little Red Mittens flock together. Yes, there was talk that there was going to be a spring flock together. So I hope that that's still in the works because we really did have a great time doing that as well. And yes, Amy, we've got the Makers Meetup in Chicago in July. So there's that coming up.
I haven't seen, I know that it's happening, but I haven't seen definitive stuff book yet. So
yeah. So we've got lots of travel plans. Do you have some like definitive knitting plans or just knit all the things?
I'm going to knit. But I can't do a make 9. It's like my mind changes every 5 minutes on what I'm going to read. So
Exactly. I can't. I tried that before. I came up they're still sitting there. I had this clever idea. I saw it on another podcast. This was years ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago, to buy small tote boxes that the yarn fits into, and you do your make 9. And I actually made 10 because I bought a 10 pack of these little tote boxes where you actually put the specific yarn in there and then you put the pattern in there. And that's what I was supposed to work on throughout the year. I can assure you, I did dive in there. I think all of them got done, but there is still, they're all still sitting there. And then I've put yarn back into them too. So yeah, that was a fail for me.
So
I just can't commit that way to an entire year.
No,
because I'm too flighty.
No, something could pop up tomorrow that I need to cast
Some
on
great
immediately.
pattern could be released tomorrow, and everything else will go out the
right.
side. Yeah, exactly. So
That's right.
I am looking forward to knitting again. I will say that, as some of you know, I'm in a half cast for a sneaky little scaphoid fracture that is not getting any less painful. And I am behaving. I feel I'm behaving really well. I don't take this thing off other than to shower. And I even washed my hair with one hand today, which was much easier than I thought it was going to be. And so I have been behaving, and I have not picked up knitting needles again. I am just holding tight. I am doing a little bit of crochet and not very much of that, just because I don't want to stress it out at all. I'm really trying to let it relax. So I've been doing some other things as well. I've been doing some doodle drawing. I won't show you that because I'm not that good yet. Maybe if I get better. But then the other night I said to Mike, we haven't done a puzzle in a couple of years. Let's do a puzzle. And he kind of rolled his eyes at me because he knows what that means. That means we'll start a puzzle. We will stay up ridiculously late until he can't stay awake any longer. And I'm saying like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I will go to bed for a few hours. And then I get up in the morning and I'm right back at it until it's done. So we are definitely out of practice because usually we can do a 1,000-piece puzzle in about 6 hours. I don't know if that's fast or slow, but that's 2 of us working on it. And this one we started took us 8 hours over 2 shifts. So I'll show you the one we did. It was fun though.
Yeah.
Costco.
Oh, wow.
And there's a million little people in there. Well, maybe not a million. There's a lot of little people in the Costco and all of the fun things. It was more like a seek and find. And I think it slowed me down because I was so busy looking at all the things. I'm like, oh, I buy that and I buy that. And yeah, so it was a lot of fun to do. It is a dowdle puzzle, which was a lot of fun to do. I bought it at a thrift store. So yeah, so that's what we've been up to. And I want to say a special hello to Linda, who was the first person in the chat today who was saying hello from a chilly Ottawa. And somebody else said that they had 7 inches of snow. We have a little bit of snow.
Well, a little
we
bit.
We do here.
Not like a little, well, a little bit. I'm like, when I think snow, I mean like this much snow, but there's like a little bit. There is a little bit of a dusting.
Yeah. Just
but
it
is
bit.
Cold. It is
very cold.
Yes.
And having been in BC for 2 weeks and having 2 weeks of solid rain, I'm telling you, when that sun came out yesterday, today, the sun was out, felt amazing. And it was too cold to go out for a walk. As far as I was concerned, I did not feel like going out to go walking. But what I did do is I pulled up a chair right into the front window and I sat in that sunlight like a lazy cat. I wasn't being lazy. I had my laptop. I was doing some work. So I sat there with the sun just like coming in on me. And I'm telling you, that was just like taking 3 vitamin Ds right there. It felt amazing. I felt so good after. I was cozy warm and the sunshine just felt great on my face, and just to see the sun and feel the sun again. So yeah. So. Oh, Sarah says they got quite a bit in London today.
Yeah,
too.
Well, they always get more than we do. It seems like every time I talk to Jacqueline, schools are canceled or buses are canceled or something.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we should get into it because we've got a lot to cover.
We have a lot, and I had a lot of questions.
I have some questions too.
Okay. Well, you go. Go ahead. You start.
Do we want to do that first?
Yeah. Let's get at least some of them, and then maybe we'll break and do some prizes, and then some more questions, and then some more prizes.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. All right. Okay. Well, I just had one question, but here's what I want to talk about. Somebody reached out to me and asked if I could show again the tool that we use to change our needle cords. So that's the tool there. Okay. And this one is a wood turned handle, and it has that little metal doweling poked up. This one, though, like you're not able to get this because we got this at Elgin Knitworks in Chicago Hoffman is, it's not in Hoffman, it's in Elgin. Sorry. We got this and we were gifted these, and these are amazing. So I keep this in my needle set, but here's a great workaround for you. And our friend Julia made this and gifted it to us. And this is Julia. So I take one traveling with me, and then I have one that never leaves its place on the couch, because near the couch where I do most of my knitting. So this is the one that Julia made us. And what she did is, I think she took the T-pin that comes with the needle sets, and then she put that into the Fima clay. And I have some of that clay here that I want to show you because I found some actually at a thrift store.
Okay.
I haven't even used this yet, but it comes in these little bricks. I'll just pull out a brick and show you. Maybe I'll show you one that has prettier colors. So I bought the bag of these little things, all of this for $3. This one looks like at Hobby Lobby, a block of 5 looked like it was about $5. It wasn't expensive to start with, but this one was even cheaper. I got it cheaper than that. But anyway, it comes in these little bricks. And this is the Kato poly clay. And what you do is you sort of work it into the shape that you want to do. And what Julia did was just kind of made like a swirly pattern by rolling some different colors together, and then rolled it around that T-pin. And then you do bake it. You bake it at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. It will tell you the amount of time on here somewhere.
Well, Julia's saying 30 minutes for a quarter of an
for
inch.
For a quarter inch of Fima.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, this was something that I had intentions on doing something with, and there it still sits. But so that's how you go about doing it. And I don't think it was that tricky to do, but then you end up with this amazing little tool that you can't leave home without, because I agree, those little T-pins, they just get lost and they're fiddly, and something with a nice handle on it is so much easier to use. So
yes. And I did have a viewer reach out again and say that, yes, if you do have Lantern Moon and you get the Lantern Moon cords, that they actually do come with a tightening tool that's got like a handle on it, as opposed to just the little T-pin.
Yes.
But I think you have to you get it in conjunction with buying the cord. I don't know that it's,
you do.
I'm not sure it's something you can go in and buy separately.
No, I believe it does come with a cord. And the cords are not expensive, but I have yet to find like a seller that I can get my hands on here in Canada. I have found a few places that actually will ship it, but then by the time I'm paying for the shipping, it's the price of a tool.
Do they fit on the Knitter's Pride needles, the cords?
Yes, they do.
Okay. That's what I think that's what.
So I've been always kind of keeping my eye out, because if I cross a retailer in my travels that actually sells Lantern Moon, then I would buy a cord so that I would have an extra one as well. But anyway, so that's what we use. So I've got the 2 of them, and that should answer that question.
Okay. Okay, so one of the questions that I had was, if you're knitting sock yarn for kids, and especially if you're going to do socks for kids, but you're going to give them to a charity, what's a good yarn that you can use that you can put in both the washer and the dryer? So I would definitely say the Barocco Vintage, the vintage sock, because it's only got 40% wool, and you definitely can put that in both the washer and the dryer. Mm-hmm. A lot of the German sock yarns, the 75-25, like commercial, like Regia, Opal, what's some more of them? Zerger Garn, something like that. A lot of those ones stand up pretty well too. Now, Croy, I'm not sure whether you can put Croy in the dryer. Like you probably can, but you're taking a chance on shrinking up a little bit. So
yes. And I know that, for instance, like the Leo and Roxy Basics, which is very similar to the stroll, that can go, Knit Pick stroll, that can go in the dryer. And how do I know that? Because the socks that I knit for my son-in-law, I found them in the dryer after they'd gone through the washer, and they were completely fine. Now, I still do mine in the wash tub basin, rinse them out with the tough soap, hang them up to dry. I do spin most of my socks out in my washing machine though, and then I hang them over hangers in my basement by my laundry machines to dry. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I guess as knitters, we're just we say, you know, don't put it in the dryer, but there are some things that are completely safe for it.
And I do believe that Barocco, I think, makes like a non-wool version that's like totally non-wool that I think would be okay for kids as well. So you probably don't. I would say if you're doing it to give away and for kids, I mean, it's nice to do it in some of the like indie dyed superwash merino, but they're not going to stand up as well. You can put them in the washer and the dryer, but you are taking a chance on them shrinking. I think even most of those are labeled that it's better to lay them flat to dry than to put them in the dryer. So
yeah. Brigitte just posted too that a store named Knitting Anxiety,
okay,
in Quebec sells the cords and ships free in Canada. So I may just go in and check that, Brigitte, because not only was I looking for the cord tool, what I was looking for was just one more cord in my arsenal to say, hey, I've tried the Lantern Moon cords and here's what I think of them. Because if there's a tool out there, I like to try it. I like to try everything. So.
Okay, another question was about depilling your sweaters and what's the best thing to use. I haven't had to depill very often. Sweaters that I've had to depill were ones that I did in the past that I used Madeline Tosh merino light, which is a single ply merino. So it tends to be, it's a very soft yarn, so it tends to pill more. I used a gleaner on mine. I don't have a shaver. I used a gleaner. I found it worked fine. I'm not sure if anybody else has any ideas on what to use. If I go and look at a sweater and it's got like big, like little big balls, I just pull them off.
Pull them off.
Right. But if there's a bunch of little ones, like I can see this one, and this does have some superwash. There's a few things here. So I might on the next wash on this one, take the gleaner to it and just like shave it off a bit. But I haven't tried any of that. I know you can get electric shavers. I haven't tried that, so I can't say whether it's.
I've only used my gleaner as well. I do have an electric shaver. I tried it. Maybe I just don't have a great one. It didn't work very well. Okay. I found the gleaner worked better. And most of the place that I get the pilling, I think it's a long hair thing. Okay. Oh. It's always here. It's right here. And then not only is there like pilled yarn, there's long hair.
Okay.
All right. Just pulled one out. I could feel it right there. And that's a pill and some long hair. That's a long hair thing. Wool coats too that I have. I'll always find some long hairs that have tracked down underneath the arm. So.
Okay, so Sarah says she has a gleaner, which works, but her mom has an electric shaver, which works really well, and it's faster. Becky says she has a Dritz fuzz remover. So, yeah, so I think, like I said, like as far as the gleaner taking more time, I don't do it all that often, so it's not a big deal. I probably should do it to the heel of some of my socks.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, Natalie says she just used a dull disposable razor. Never even thought of that, but you probably wouldn't want to do a brand new one because that would probably be a little too much.
Yeah, I'd be afraid.
Yeah. Oh, Janice says she used masking tape wrapped around your hand.
Okay, that's a good idea too.
Now, I hadn't tried one of those. I have some of those brushes I wonder how they would do it. Like the sticky
rollers, the sticky rollers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Okay, and then someone else asked about the alternating cable cast on, which we have talked about quite a bit, which we use a lot of times in place of a tubular cast on. Now, she had said, when you do it, do you use like the knitted on or the long tail method? I don't know of a long tail method doing it that way. Like, I think that's one of the advantages of doing it is that you slip stitch one stitch on your needle and then the rest is all done with your working yarn.
So that you can't run out doing a long tail method.
So if there's another way, I don't know if anybody else, I don't know of another way to do that alternating cable one using a long tail method.
Yeah.
So I know when you do a tubular cast on, you do have to measure out the amount of yarn that you're going to use before you do it. So maybe that's the difference, but I don't think I've done a tubular cast on since I learned the alternating cable cast on. So, okay. And then another question was about repairing socks. And if you have a heel flap and gusset and you get a hole in the heel or the heel flap, can you take it out and reknit it? I don't know. I have not ever done it.
No,
I have not ever done it. I don't know if there's a way to do it. because it's not just like when you have a set in heel or a cut in heel, it's basically stitches picked up all around the sock. When you're doing a heel flap and gusset, you eventually pick up that stitches, work it into your gusset. So I'm not sure how you could take that out, and I'll have to maybe Google that this week and see if I can find anything. But you can darn your socks, so you could like do either some visible mending or darn them.
Yes, and the method I used, I actually, if somebody were to go onto my Instagram and look under my reels, there is a reel tutorial of how I actually did stitch back in a hole that was in a heel flap and gusset. And I did it in such a way, I even did it with the same yarn, that it looked like it had been knit in. And that worked really well. And I'm probably going to be doing that method again because Mike got a little hole in the heel of his sock when he was chasing Miles. So now that I'm home, I've got to get that onto a darning egg and repair that sock too. So
okay, now Nettie says that you can use duplicate stitch to repair your heel flap and gusset. So you could try that. And I have never tried it, but I've seen people do some of the things with those little, like it's a weaving tool that you put in the loom,
the little tiny,
yeah. So,
and that might be what Sarah's talking about, that she has a speed weaver that she bought on Amazon, which is good for darning socks.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, and then another question was about, well, it wasn't a question, it was just a comment, because I've been working with the knitted in and saying like, you've got to kind of stop and then you've got to unwind it. So Marg actually said when she does it, so here's an example of like what your knitted in comes like. And I haven't done it yet, but basically she said a lot of people, if they're working with 2 strands at once, will take 2 plates and kind of roll them together, but into a ball, and then put the ball into like just a bowl, a wool bowl or a yarn bowl. And that way it just rolls on itself when you pull it. You don't have to stop and unwind everything. So she said she even does that sometimes, even when she's just knitting from one of the plates, like roll it into a ball first. She said, I know it takes more time, but it's so easy when you're doing this just to pull too hard and pull it apart.
Yes.
So I just finished the one section. I might try that for part of the next one, but we'll see. She said it works quite well to do that. And then there was another just comment from someone talking about getting ladders when you use magic loop. And a way to avoid that is where you move a few stitches every time. So it's kind of hard to explain, but you get to the end of where your stitches are. And then instead of pulling the needle all the way through the stitches, you leave like 4 of them on the end. But then with that method, you're constantly moving your stitches.
Yes.
Right now, she said she found it on a website called franco.com. I didn't check out the website. I don't know what's on it. I will link the tutorial that she sent me.
Okay.
I'll put that in the show notes. And I know there haven't been show notes for a couple of weeks, but it's a new year and I'm back in it. So they will be up. So I will link that on how to avoid ladders if you're using magic loop. So that will be in the show notes. Okay. Did you have any other questions?
No, I would just comment on that. There's a couple of other things that probably before I tried moving stitches, I would try knitting the garment inside out, which is, you're not actually knitting on it inside out.
Well, she was not, but she's not talking with color work. She was just talking with a regular.
Oh, okay. Just regular knitting.
Yeah. Okay. Like just regular stocking stitch when you come around, but you can go ahead with that. That is the next question. How do you knit color work inside out? So you can take that one.
Oh, okay. Well, if I had something here to show, I do have a tutorial on it that would be easier to explain. And what are we at here for time? We're at 24:40. I'll put a link to that up here right now, but I will quickly talk about it too. So basically what you're doing is, and I don't even have a knitting piece here to talk about, so that's going to be really tricky to show. It's just that you flip it to the inside so that you're still working on the right side of the project. You're not working on the wrong side of the project, but so if we'll use a mitten or a sock, for example, so then you can see like on the inside, normally when you have your tube, the right side is on the outside and the inside is the wrong side, right? So if you flip it the other way, the inside of your tube becomes the right side of the project. And then you have your carried stitches on the outside. Yeah. So you're basically just working on that inside and you're carrying the yarns on the outside of the tube as opposed to carrying the yarns on the inside of the tube. And therefore, you're stretching that fabric out a little bit more so that the color work doesn't all bunch up. And if that seemed confusing, it will all become very clear if you have a quick look at that tutorial I mentioned a few minutes ago, and you'll see how easy it is. It sounds very strange when you hear it in your head, but I assure you, it's very easy to do. Okay.
Okay. And then another question was about someone that was a relatively new spinner and didn't really know how to use her hand spun yarn. So when you're first spinning, well, even when you're later spinning, your yarn may not necessarily be as consistent as what you get when you buy a commercial yarn, but there's lots of ways that you can use it. And one way that you can kind of get around that a little bit is hold it with a mohair or hold it with a suri, because that really kind of evens out your yarn a bit. And the mohair kind of tends to fill in the places where your yarn might be a little bit thick and thin. Like also, like a lot of times it's really good to use it in a colorwork yoke, because even this sweater is spin cycle, and even the spin cycle dyed in the wool has places where it's a little bit thinner or thicker than others. But when you're using it in a colorwork, especially in like all over colorwork, because you've got two strands of yarn, it kind of fills in and it doesn't look as uneven. And like, I think hand spun always looks great in stuff like a hat or like a cowl or a scarf, where your texture doesn't have to be exact. And so, you know, your first kind of yarn that you make up or that you spin, you could use in projects like that until your spinning gets more even and you want to use it in a sweater. But even hand spun, you could use it, like, let's say you could use it, do a little bit of color work in the top of a sock. Like, I don't throw any hand spun out. Like, it gets used in something. Even a lot of those little ornaments I was doing at Christmas, it doesn't take a whole lot of your hand spun to do that. But yeah, so I would suggest, again, if you can always hold it with another yarn too, like a finer yarn, a lace weight yarn. Doesn't even have to be a mohair, just something else to give it a little bit more strength. I don't know if anybody else has some other suggestions, but the whole beauty of a hand spun and used in a garment is the fact that you do have that look to it.
That's
like
right.
That's, you know, unique, that nobody else has. Nobody else has anything that looks exactly like that. It's like a unique individual piece of art. So
that's right.
Okay. And then another question was about the cotton for tea towels. I always use 8-2 cotton. So 8-2 cotton, there's various places that you can get it from. I believe the brand that I use is Maurice Broussard, but I do believe that at least here in Camilla Valley Fibers has one that's very similar. It's an 8-2 cotton as well. So 8-2 is basically the weight. So you are looking for a lace weight cotton. Mostly it comes in 227 gram cones. That's half a pound, and there's about approximately 1680 yards in it. So it's a lace weight. So that's what you're looking for to do your tea towels. And in the tea towel kind of method that I do, it's all held double. So, and then let me see if I have any more questions here. The last one was, go ahead.
I was just going to say, going back to that laddering of the magic loop, there's been a few people in here that have commented, if they just give a little tug on the second stitch past, like when you go on to your next needle, if you just give a little extra tug on that second stitch, they said that they've eliminated laddering that way. There was Heather, I think, said that she gives a little tug on the first stitch and that helps her. So there are a few tips and tricks too before you have to take any drastic measures.
Yes. Okay, and this one is just a tip that someone said that she's actually been using AI. If, like, let's say she wants to do a pattern and her gauge that she's getting with the yarn is totally different than what the pattern is. Apparently, if you put some of that information to AI, it will give you the information. So basically, I guess it's just doing the math for you, right?
Yes.
I have hardly used AI, so I'm not familiar with it at all.
I don't know if I'd be ready to trust it yet. I've done a little bit of AI with some graphics where somebody gets an extra hand waving out the side of their arm or like a sixth finger or something. So I don't know if I'm really ready to trust it.
Well, she did say she had got that information, but she hasn't actually knit the sweater yet.
Okay, so very good.
We'll be looking forward to hearing what those results are.
If I could just figure out how to get AI to actually do some knitting for me, like just, the boring parts of a sweater, I'd be all in.
Yeah, but we need those boring parts sometime.
Oh.
Okay, and then the last question was, okay, you're doing a sweater, you do your gauge swatch, and it's too tight. What do you do? Do you go up a needle size or do you do a bigger size in the sweater? How do you decide whether to go up a needle size or do a bigger sweater? To me, it all comes down to the fabric.
How do you like the fabric?
How do you like the fabric? So if you are happy with the fabric at the needle size that you're on, then I would say do the math and figure out what size you're going to do. If it's too tight or too loose, I would say that's the most important thing, is to find the fabric that you like first, because you can probably almost get any yarn to knit at any gauge. But if I take a worsted weight yarn and I put it on a 2mm needle to get 24 stitches, I am not going to like that fabric. It's going to stand up by itself.
That's right.
So I think you really have to figure out what fabric you like. And remember that not all yarns will behave the same way. Like if that yarn's got something in it that's inherently drapey, like a silk or an alpaca, it's going to behave differently than something that's a cotton linen, or, something that's a rustic yarn that's got more, stickiness or grip or just weight to it. So, but I would definitely say you really need to get the fabric that you like first. And maybe that fabric's not going to work for that particular pattern, so, but I definitely go with that. I don't know if anybody else has any other ideas there. I think you do the same thing, Kelly. It's the fabric that you like.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Michaela did mention that she's used the AI for gauge for a sweater, and so far it's been correct. So based on Michaela's feedback, maybe we will give it a little thought process. This is a nice comment from Heather too. This is interesting. Heather says, always save that first skein of yarn that you spun. You will never get that unique artistic yarn that easily again. She still has hers from 43 years ago, and it's still her favorite. So there you go.
I still have mine. I don't know what I could knit with it, because it's but it's all rolled up and it sits in my, and I'm like looking at it going, holy cow, like
I've come a long way. Yeah. Interesting.
Well, not that it's so, and now it is I find it, I've been doing a little bit more spinning this week, and I find it very hard to spin thicker now.
Okay.
So you get used to spinning thin, and then it's really hard to go back to that thicker. So, that was it for questions.
Okay.
Sarah said hers is truly heinous. She had to give it to her. Oh, she gave it to a friend for a tapestry weaving. That would actually be a good idea, to put it in a tapestry weaving, because then you see it all the time.
Yeah.
But maybe my son will make me something with it.
Maybe.
So.
Okay.
So maybe we should move on to what we're wearing. No, maybe we'll do the first set of prizes.
Okay.
And then do what we're wearing.
Okay.
All
right.
So maybe we'll do the prizes from last week's.
The pajama party.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Are they in with the rest here?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes. And they're numbered. And I did the draws in the exact order that we gave them out on the podcast. So
I'll pull those up if you want to show them. Yeah. So I start with one. Okay.
Okay. So one was this beautiful bag that Kelly made. So that's a Tangled Stitch Shop. It's a Sherpa bottom here in a beautiful burgundy color. And then this one's got almost like a quilting block look with kind of antique colors at the top. It's got a drawstring that you can pull shut. You can pull this inside and just set it as a little bowl to knit out of. And you've got some nice plain colored canvas on the inside so you can see what you're knitting with. And so the winner for that one is, I don't know if it's Sue Clater, 4954. Okay. So she said she enjoyed the pajama party so much, her first cast on either will be a groovy shawl or a birds of a feather shawl. She has the yarn for both and is excited to get started, but don't know which to do first. Cast them on both. Cast on both.
Cast them on both. Absolutely. It's what I say too.
Yeah. And she said, thanks for all the prizes. It was a great way to end the year. So congratulations, Sue. This bag will be going out to you. Okay. So prize number 2 was this bag. This is by A Finch's Nest. So this is our friend Heather that we knit with on Saturdays. Yes, this is a beautiful bag. It's got little, I don't know if they're doves and little mushrooms, and really pretty bag. Zipper closure. And that's what the fabric on the inside is like. Heather attaches a little bit on the outside so you know what the inside fabric looks like.
So clever.
Yeah. And the winner for this one is... Okay, you can read this one.
Denise Sealing. And she says, this was her first time watching the podcast. Yay.
Wow. Congratulations,
so happy to
Denise.
have caught your pajama party. How fun. My first 2025 project will be the Belle Fair sweater with the Woolfolk Luft. I can't wait to see your next podcast. Happy New Year. Well, welcome, Denise.
Thank you.
Welcome to our little knitting group.
Congratulations, Denise.
Yeah.
Okay. And then prize number 3 is this skein of honey. It's called Honeydew Sugar. I believe it's the Lush base from Ginger Snap. So it's got these beautiful green and dark, almost black speckles in it.
Yes.
And it also comes with a pack of these cards that, that my daughter designed. So those are going to prize number 3. And that is, okay, so this is Kristen Donovan, 5861. Thanks for another fun pajama party. Love hearing all of your ideas. I'm continuing the idea of a year-long project. This year I'll be doing a section of the snowflower scarf each month. I look forward to casting on tomorrow. I also finished a sweater for my son, so now I can finally cast on my Riptide V-neck slipover.
Yay,
Kristen. You will love it. You will love it. So, okay. And number 4 is this skein of Le Soc by Jelaine in this beautiful,
so pretty
color. I don't know if it has.
There is a name, isn't it?
Oh, New Phone Who Dis.
New Phone Who Dis. Yes.
Okay, beautiful color, and a pack of the cards. We'll go with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so number 4's winner is. Okay, I'm going to read this one because you can read the next one, Kelly.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for another fantastic year of podcasts. I have several new cast-ons in mind and knitted up ready to go. One is a Mara shawl. It's a free pattern for one skein. Looking forward to another year of sock knitting too. Yay, sock knitting all the way. Congratulations, Sandy. So these will be going out to you. Okay, and then number 5 is...
There were so many.
So this is 50 grams of my hand spun. So whoever gets this, don't judge it too harshly. But it's, I will put some information on it as far as yardage and that. So this also goes along with another package of the cards. And that goes to number 5.
And number 5.
And you get to read this.
Oh, I see why now. Okay. This is from K Knits, hand spun and note cards. Okay. So happy I found your channel this year and your Ravelry group. You ladies are a delight. Oh, thank you. I will be joining you for the year-long sock fun and selfish knitter too. My first cast on of the new year. That will be a quick crochet project, the beaded fidget dragon. My first big cast on will be Petite Knits Copenhagen cardigan, something easy for the winter months, and a winter sleep wrap, all lacy. But New Year's Day will be the little dragon. There is a beaded fidget turtle and the cutest beaded fidget hedgehog. A hedgehog.
Oh, that's cute.
All by Emily Negro. They are quick crochet projects, very easy. Kelly, your knit method is what I did when I had trigger finger in my thumb. I have a brace that I can use. It really helps. So please let your hand heal. You don't want arthritis and resulting trigger finger. I do not. I still wear my brace at night. I hear you on not being able to do things. For a while there, I had both hands out of commission. Can you say toothbrushing? Yes, that was a rough go. Hope you heal fast. Well, I'm telling you, I am learning very much how to do things one-handed. I guess the thing that is most difficult is in the kitchen, because since this is fabric around my cast, I don't want to get this dirty and I don't want food on it. So food prep is really tricky. So I've learned some new knife techniques where I'm sort of holding something a little claw-like and then I'm slicing it this way, or I'm calling Mike into the kitchen to help. So that's one of my big things that I have a hard time doing. Okay, number 6.
And then number 6 is, and this, look how big it is. It's holding all those prizes.
Yay.
So this is a Sandy bag that Sandy that we met through the Makers Meetup. And hopefully she'll be there again this year because we like visiting with her. But she makes these bags for us. So this is a Knits and Pieces bag. It's got a beautiful pocket on the outside. It's got a zippered pocket on the inside. It's got a vinyl bottom on it so that you can put it down when you're out and you can wipe that clean afterwards. And so prize number 6 is going to Okay, so this is going to Gnome 98712. And she says, thank you for your fabulous podcast. I have loved watching each one. My first 2025 cast on will be The Bunny by
Maria
Merlova, and of course, a pair of socks. Happy New Year. So congratulations to all of our winners, and we will let you know how to get in touch with us. Do we want to pop that up right now?
Yes. I'm getting there.
Okay.
I can't work my mouse very well either. Sorry.
There we go. You can email us at knitsandpiecespodcast@gmail.com. We will need your full name, your mailing address, and your phone number.
Mm-hmm.
And we will get those prizes in the mail for you. I had to get you to read that one, Kelly, because there's too many. It was too little. I can't see it. So I could not have read it. Okay. So congratulations to all our winner. Thank you, everybody, for the support of the podcast. We had an amazing time at the pajama party last week. It took a while to calm down after it was over. So it's just such a nice group to interact with.
It really is. I think we have the best people. I say that, and I mean it. We really do have the best people because, and I say that and I know that because anytime that we've actually met you outside of the podcast, you are just as amazing in person as you are on the podcast. So that's how I know that we have such great people. Yeah.
So, okay. So maybe now we'll talk about what we're wearing and then we'll go on and talk about the other prize winners.
Okay. Heather, can I share that publicly? Yes. Well, she put it in the chat. Oh. So I just have to say this because I'm so excited for her. Our friend Heather of Timber Yarns. Look at this. She didn't enter the contest, but she has to say that her first project is her first baby blanket for her first grandbaby. And she's not excited, or I'm not excited beyond. And congratulations to all the winners.
Yes. Congratulations. Yes. I know
Heather's so excited for you, Heather. It is the best thing. It really is.
Yep. So,
okay.
Okay. Okay. Do you want me to start or do you want to start?
What are we starting? Oh, what we're wearing.
What we're wearing.
I lost track there for a moment. Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
I am wearing the Celtic Knot sweater. I was going to say cardigan, but it's not a cardigan. Sweater by Helene's Knit House. Now, I did make this a few years ago, and it is in a heavy for me to wear yarn. This is in the Drops Alaska. I was going to say Arctic, but it's not. It's Drops Alaska. So it's 100% wool, but I am wearing it next to skin and it's not at all itchy. It's comfortable for me to wear. The thing that I like about this is the saddle construction on the shoulders. Mm-hmm. It's a really interesting construction. And then it has this gorgeous Celtic braid that comes down the sleeves. And so I don't wear it very often because in worsted weight, goodness, it's a warm sweater, but it is a pretty cool day today. So I figured it would be okay to wear it today. And it's a pretty color too. It's not even a color that I normally buy. It's like
kind of like an icy
gray blue.
It's pretty.
Yeah. And that's not a color that I normally have. So this was kind of going out of my comfort zones on a few things, but I really do like the sweater. And it's, like I said, I don't wear it that much. I should wear it more. It's pretty. It's really pretty.
But that's what I find. I find a lot of my heavier sweaters I don't wear as much because they're too hot when you're.
It's just too much because
it's very pretty though.
Not normally doing a whole lot of things outside, and then you go to a coffee shop or something, and then you're warm enough to be inside. But yeah, definitely, like it's so pretty. Look at this, this Celtic braid, so nice. Okay, and you?
Okay, mine is the Guthrie by Caitlin Hunter. So I looked back. I did this in 2018, so it was kind of when Spin Cycle first came on the scene. So this is done in Julie Aslin's Lezu DK, which is a 90% merino, 10% silk. And then and it's the color London. And then the Spin Cycle, it's dyed in the wool, which is their sport weight. And the colorway is Wallflower. So I did actually do a little bit of color management when it got to the sleeves. Like they don't match exactly, but I kind of wanted the tones at least to be similar across, so that it didn't look like one sleeve was totally different than the other. So I did do a little bit of color management there, but in the body, I just kind of let them go where they, like I did have to join in skein. So I just kind of let the colors go where they wanted to. So
it's such a pretty sweater.
It's, thank you. It's also a sweater that's very warm. And I find that today was cold enough to wear it, but because it's like the Julie Aslan is a DK, like, and then you've got another strand going across it, it is like quite warm. So I find unless it's like a day like today, and I don't have anything like it's next to skin, I don't have a turtleneck or anything on underneath it. But I really do like the pattern. But I tend to, if I'm going to do a sweater like this, I want it to be like a fingering weight. So, and even fingering weight double ones are warm. So
I'm still always shocked when I see pictures of you with your short hair.
With my short hair.
I can't even. I just cannot. Like, I'm so used to that long hair that you have now. I can't imagine you any other way. And your hair was so short. It was so short that you actually even used to get it undercut. I remember that because it's thick. And I'm like, I just can't believe it. I can't believe it.
It's not nearly as thick now since, you know, a couple of bouts of COVID than what it was back then. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we need to move on to other prizes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, and I've got those prizes. All right.
You've got those ones. Yep.
So, okay, let me shuffle myself here. So these next set of prizes is I'm going to need to take out a small loan to go to the post office to get all of this stuff mailed out. But anyway, this next set of prizes is for the Makealongs that we had coming due at the end of December. So the first one that we'll go through, and then when we're finished those prizes, we're going to go into the Makealongs that we have going for 2025. Okay. So the first one that we have is our year-long sock along. Now we're going to have 3 prizes tonight. So the first one is a pattern prize. And that pattern is generously donated by our friend Natalie of Remembrance's Pottery. It's, what is it?
I don't know.
Why can't we remember it? Natalie, why did you change your name? It's Remembrance's. Oh my gosh. Julia, help me out. I know that you know it.
Is it just Remembrances?
No, it's Remembrance's something. Okay, I'll get back to that. All right.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe Julia can help us out. Oh gosh, why can't I remember that? All right, because she's been another name for too long. That's why. All right, so the pattern winner for December is, there we go, is Courtney Little on Ravelry. So we had 4,579 pairs of socks in there. Well, actually, I guess 78 because the first comment was yours to set it up. So that's a lot of socks, friends. That's a lot. And the winner, the random number was 143. And I love the colors in those socks, Courtney. They're very, very pretty. So yeah, very nice.
Yeah, congratulations. And look at that. That was number 143.
All the way back.
Again, into the next year, make sure you get those socks in there early, and then they're eligible for prizes all year long.
There's already quite a few finished pairs of socks in there. I'm shocked. So, you friends are such fast knitters. Okay. Next we have the yarn winner for the month. And the yarn this month is, hold on, because I've got more yarn sitting here. I want to make sure I have the right one. So do I have it right? Yes. The yarn that we're giving away this month is a sock marl from Yarn Indulgences. And the colorway is called Bouquet. And
that's pretty.
Oh, this is a hard one to part with. Look at these colors. Oh my gosh. There's like a beautiful purple. These are our colors, Noelle. There's like a purpley pink and there's a gold. Like literally, if we were a skein of yarn, this is what we would look like. So pretty, so beautiful. Deborah dyes absolutely gorgeous yarn. So the full skein of sock yarn. And the winner for this one is, did I get it right? Yes.
Knit Crazy Kathy.
Knit Crazy Kathy. Yes, on Ravelry. And that one was number 1,966. Also very nice socks. That'd be the nice pair of socks.
Nice texture.
I love those. Yes. Yeah. Lots of texture. Okay. And then we said that there would be a sort of one more winner for the whole year. I don't know why we said that, but there is. There's one more winner for the whole year.
Because we've always done that. That's why.
Oh, shoot.
I have it. The prize?
Yeah.
I have the prize.
Okay. Show us the prize, Vanna. Whoops. Oh, that's right, too. You do.
Okay, so
Okay.
this is a 3 skein neon set. So this would make, well, if you choose to make socks with this will make a lot of pairs of socks.
Yes.
Will also make a beautiful top or anything that you want to make with it. So this is their color block kit. There's 3 skeins, 75-25 sock. There's a total of 13.95 yards in here. So this is the grand prize for the sock knit along for the whole year.
The whole
so
year.
out of those over 4,500 pairs of socks, the winner is...
The winner is Elaine, who is Tree Source Limited. Now, Elaine, we know, well, we've never met Elaine, but I know that Elaine is up north. Where was I? Where was that yarn store where my son got married near to it?
Oh, Linda's Craftique?
No.
No?
Maybe. Anyway, I know that Elaine lives near there, and Elaine has been with us like pretty much from the beginning. So that was really nice.
Congratulations, Elaine. Yeah.
And she was number 1140. And I love how this is a thing I like to do too. She's got her socks in a bag that is a coordinating bag. I love to put my socks or my projects in bags that coordinate with the yarn that I'm working with. So, okay.
Congratulations.
All right, moving on.
Okay, moving on.
So then we got to the Advent Along. And the Advent Along was something that you worked on throughout the year. And we divided that into quarters. So each quarter we drew a prize from the chat. And then in December, we opened up the finished object thread. And so this prize is coming from that. And the prize for that is from Full Moon Fibers, donated this. Since we were doing something Advent-y, and I thought this was a good prize in keeping, and it's one of their mini sets.
Oh, that's pretty.
There's so many beautiful colors in there.
Yeah.
It works out to 120 grams total, but I thought this would be something really fun. If the winner so chooses to do something Advent-y again, then this might be a really great start. So I was really excited when I did the random number generator, and the project that came up was a very mini-friendly Advent-y. And I'll show you the winner for that.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. Yeah. So I also happen to know Sheila.
Sheila. Yeah. Congratulations, Sheila. That is adorable. I might have to make one of those. I might have to make 5 of those.
So she made these little mini socks, and they are adorable, absolutely adorable. And she made this gift for her daughter. But then we had the strike, so she couldn't ship them. But then her daughter came to visit her for Christmas. She's from away. And so she was able to give them to her in person. So I just think,
that's so cute.
Should you decide to do a set for yourself, you'll be kind of well on your way with that. Okay, so congratulations, Sheila, for joining us on the Advent Along. We've got one more. My goodness. This is as much as the Pajama Party. All right. So for the Unselfish Make-Along, that was where you made something to gift away to somebody else or donate, whatever. And we had a lot of entries in here. So I want to give you all a huge pat on the back for being such unselfish knitters. There were 1,126 projects in that thread over a 3-month period. So I think that is showing once again what a truly generous and giving spirit all of you have. And we had to choose one winner, and the winner is going to get something beautiful, maybe that you can keep and make for yourself. And it is a gorgeous skein of La Sock yarn from Gillen. It's so pretty. It's called Summer Crush. And I realize we're in winter, but I thought, you know what? This will give you time to plan. This would make some beautiful socks. It is a 75-25. And, or you could do a beautiful 1 skein shawl.
Yeah.
I think this would be absolutely gorgeous. And once again, it's like the same theme. It's got that gorgeous gold and the pink, colors that we would totally pick, Noelle.
Yeah.
Okay. And the winner is Gwyn. Gwyn number 5 on Ravelry, and the random number generator was 635. And this was really
that's cute,
a cool pick, because I was looking at the hat going, it looks so familiar. Why does it look familiar?
It's quilt blocks.
It's quilt blocks from Natalie, Natalie's pattern. And so Gwyn took Natalie's cozy quilter sock pattern and converted it and made a hat out of it.
That's pretty.
To give to a friend who quilts.
Oh, that's
nice.
And
I thought that was amazing. So
yeah.
Congratulations. That's a well-deserved project right there.
Yeah. And I saw that Natalie's name is just Remembrances.
It is
It's Remembrances and then _ Natalie Sheldon.
Oh, Remembrances Natalie Sheldon.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So
I wrote it down in my
Natalie,
last book.
I think it was Heather that brought that up. So thanks.
This book, I've started a new book for 2025. So anyway.
Okay. So again, for any of our prize winners, if you're a pattern prize, you can just again, you can just email us with your Ravelry name, or actually I will just probably send you back a code and you can go in and pick out your pattern. And for everybody else, we need your mailing address, your full name, and your phone number. So congratulations to all the winner. Congratulations, everybody. You did an amazing job getting all those pairs of socks in there. Like that sets the bar so high for next year.
Well, I did set it up this year and I said 5,000, but you know, if we go over, that's completely fine. Completely fine. So anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm so glad so many people are knitting socks. Even like today, I had to go get my pins out. So I was waiting in the hospital and I had to start a new pair of socks because I didn't have any that I could take with me that were easy. And of course, people are like, are you knitting that for me? Or are those going to be for me? So people talk to you when you're knitting.
Yes. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. So,
okay. So before we leave the Makealongs, let's just quickly go through our slide.
Okay.
So once again, this year, I'll do the first one. You can do the second one. We're going to do the annual sock along. Socks are near and dear to our heart, and clearly they are near and dear to yours as well. So we're going to run that again because we have so much fun doing it, and there's so much inspiration. So if you ever cannot think of a pair of socks to cast on, just spend 2 minutes in that thread and you will have more patterns than you could ever possibly think you could find on Ravelry. So it's just wonderful. So it's the same thing. Knit all the socks, even if they were like started years ago or months ago, that's okay. When you finish them, add them into the thread. And each month we draw the 2 winners, a pattern and a yarn prize. And we go all the way back to the beginning of the year each month. So, you know, January, we draw January, February, we'll do January and February. So your socks stay eligible for the whole year. And we run that all year long. And then we have a grand prize at the end of the year. So get knitting.
And you could have started them 3 years ago, just finish them and you can put them in there.
Yes, I've got someone on in project guides that were, yes, we can't enter, but anyway.
Okay. And then the other one that we've going on for the first quarter of this year is our not selfish, knit or make along. So it's your gift knitting is all done. Now you can cast on something for yourself. Can be any project, 50 grand minimum, no whips. We also said that some people really are happiest when they're knitting something for someone else. So if you really feel that that's a gift to yourself is knitting something for someone else, you can enter that here.
Yes.
So we're not going to tell you that it has to absolutely be for yourself, because if you're happy you're knitting for someone else, because I think there are some people out there that knit all the time and don't knit anything for themselves.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So we just want to see what everybody's making. And
yes,
I must say there was lots of wonderful ideas in all the comments from the Pajama Party video of what everybody's starting to cast on. I know I was excited for it to get to January 1st to do some new starts, and I wish you could knit, Kelly.
Not more than I do. I'll tell you that.
Anyway.
Before we leave the sock knitting thing, our mathematician Kim is in here.
Yeah, there we go.
And she says that she thinks that we can crack 1 billion stitches. We nearly did this year with 91,560,000 stitches. So yeah, maybe we should not have put the sock number. I should have put.
Yeah, we should have put the stitches.
Crack that many stitches. So
1 billion.
That is an amazing 1 billion stitches. That is an amazing amount of knitting.
Then we could rename the podcast. We could call it 1 billion stitches.
1 billion stitches. Stitches. Oops. I didn't say it. No YouTube strikes for this girl. No. Anyway, yeah, we really did have the best time, and we hope that if you are if you haven't joined any of our Makealongs before, maybe this is your year. Join our Makealongs on Ravelry. It's really the best time, and there's a lot of chatter going on in there. So if you're looking to make some new knitting friends, that's a great place to start.
I love the chatter going on before we're even in here, like people telling everybody what they're knitting and what they're baking. And yeah, it's wonderful.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
So,
Kelly, do you have any finishes?
No, I do not.
I have a couple. I have 3.
This is going to be a really long episode, friends. I'm going to apologize for that in advance because we
You can break it up. Watch it.
we have it in at an hour already, and we still have lots to show. So, okay, let's go.
Okay. So
What
my
have you got?
first is
How many did you say you have?
3.
3. Oh my
They're
gosh,
mismatched. They're
so
mismatched. Cute. But you know what? I talked to Oliver. He doesn't care.
Hey, you know what? I was just thinking, do you not think that Heather's grandchild will be the most colorful grandchild? Yes.
Well,
with all that knitting.
I heard that her first blanket was in browns and tans.
No way.
Yes. Anyways, these are the Perfect Newborn Socks by Tabitha Gandy. I know this is a German sock yarn. It's so old, I can't remember whose socks.
It looks like an opal.
It might be.
Yeah.
So this was left over. This is the newborn sock by Tabitha Gandy, but this I've adjusted it. It's a little bit bigger because he's grown quite a bit. So I think it is a free pattern, and the pattern calls for 32 stitches. This is 36 stitches. And then I just do the foot a little bit longer. But again, love this pattern because when you put it on like this, it almost goes up to their knee. But yes. You can also, if it's too long, you can also like turn down the little cuff on it. And you've got a nice little cuff sock. Mm-hmm. So, and I just had one picture to show here because Oliver does have a pair of them on in here, but he is also wearing his, let me see here. Where is it? He's also wearing his Elwood.
Oh,
so this is
so cute.
I'll just put that one up there. That's the Elwood by Jenny Weep. She is Vanjie Knits. I can't say enough about that sweater pattern. Like I absolutely love it. And I know you're working on one.
Yeah, I was.
For Miles. But it's you can do the striping any way you want. And it fits them so nice. Like, and it's nice to have that little bit of a collar that comes up. Mm-hmm. So, and you can't see down at the bottom. I'll take off down at the bottom of the picture, down at the very bottom there, you can see he has on a pair of like yellowish goldish socks. So he is now into the second size of socks that I did for him.
So cute. So cute.
Okay.
Well, before you go on to your next one, I'll just show you this. It was sitting in a bag beside me. I can't do anything on it, but I can show you. That's where my Elwood is. So I'm done the sweater basically, and now I'm just doing the little the button bands. But yeah, it's on hold for a little bit. But so much fun.
And for those, both of us use the Barocco vintage yarn, which is a great yarn to use for kids because it's so easy to throw in the washer and dryer. So, okay. So my second one I don't have because it was Molly's birthday yesterday. So we went out to see her Sunday and I brought her gift out to her then. So I made her the Lulu Slipover Junior by Petite Knit. And I've got a couple of pictures here. So there's, it's just like the loose slipover with the big armholes. It's got a couple of little buttons at the side. And there's a picture just of the little buttons. Pardon me.
I saw you showing that at the coffee shop, but we were on opposite ends of the table. So I couldn't hear what you were talking about. I thought it was the best for you. I did.
No. She's almost as tall as me. So anyways, for this pattern, I used, the yarn is Barocco Bento, which is actually no longer available.
I was going to say, I've not heard of that one. Yeah.
It's 80% merino, 20% silk. The colorway is 8712 Shimizu Peach, even though that doesn't look anywhere near a peach colored yarn to me. That is what it's called. It is a worsted to Aran weight yarn. I use 4.62 skeins. It's 50 gram balls. This was yarn that Debbie gave me at Makers Meetup.
Oh, right. That's right.
And Molly loved this color, and Zoe saw me making it, and she wants one. I mean, Zoe is always too hot to wear knitwear, but oh, Grandma, yes, I would wear that one. So anyway, and now, so the construction of this, it's top down, but this is the first time I've done, if you look at the bands there, I've done double knit on the bands.
Okay.
So the band goes around, and I really like the finished look of it, but let me tell you, for me, it is an exercise in patience. But I will do it again because I really like the result. But it's It's not just pick up and knit the band. Like you have to pick up all the way stitches along the band, and then you go back to the other end and you're knitting back and forth, joining one stitch every time. Half your stitches are slipped on every row to create the 2 layers of fabric. So but it is a really nice finish.
Mm-hmm.
And then the top of the sweater actually called for a rolled collar, but because the original pattern called for DK weight yarn at a 20 stitch gauge, with this yarn, my gauge was 18 stitches, and I liked the fabric and the drape at that, so I didn't want to do the 20, but I found it was thick enough. So when I did the neckband, I just did a single neckband, and then I did that cast off that I can't remember the name of, that mimics the tubular.
Tubular, yes.
Yeah. So those are the only modifications I really made to the pattern. Was I changed the neck, and I believe on the button bands where you do the double knitting, they actually told you to do a tubular cast on and a tubular cast off. I did the ones I always do, the alternating cable and this one, and it worked out fine. And then I've got a picture here of Molly wearing it.
Oh, she looks so cute in it.
And she's 7 now. I can't believe, how did she get to be 7? It's just crazy. Anyways, she really liked it, and it was a lot of fun. So this was the junior pattern, but Petite Knit also has this pattern in adult size, and I believe they also have it in like a chunky weight. But this goes up to a size 14, kid size 14. So I actually can use the same pattern too.
I swear it would have fit you. From what I saw at my end of the table, I thought, oh, she must be knitting on another vest pattern.
No. Okay. And then my last finish is, this was inspired by you, Kelly. These are my indoorsy socks by Sonder Yarn Co. Yes.
Oh, aren't they the best?
They are. And so they actually match they go with my sweater. So I thought I should have a new soft, cozy pair of socks for after I got my pins out. So these are what I chose to do. And I don't think I did mine with the rib all the way down. I don't know if you did that or not. Like I did the rib all the way down to the bottom of did you do the rib and then switch to
what did I even do?
So I did, you've got like about 3 inches of rib at the top, but then I continued the rib, and this is in the pattern. There's 3 different versions.
Yeah, I think I did, because mine were striped. So I actually think I just did plain. Like I did like a stockinette.
I think you did your rib and then did plain.
Yeah, because they were striped. So
yeah. So, but I did the rib. I did the smallest size in the sock, and these are, you hold a mohair with a sock yarn. So they were done on a 3mm needle, and that is what the pattern called for. This small size is 48 stitches, and it fits me perfectly. So the yarns that I used were, it was Knitcola, and it's 100% merino. So I'm hoping that the silk mohair will give strength to that. And I mean, these are not going to be socks that I'm running all over the place in anyway. So it's the Knitcola 4-ply, 100% merino, and the colorway is Rocky Road. And then the mohair is Leo and Roxy, and it is the colorway Meredith. So it was 21 grams of the mohair, and it was, let me see how many grams of 46 grams of the sock yarn. So basically, this is the small size, but I think if you had a 25-gram mohair ball, depending on the yardage, and a 50-gram sock yarn, you could probably get most sizes, even if you had to cut down maybe the length of your top part here in the bigger sizes.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and it has a heel that's just a stocking stitch heel. They didn't go back and forth, and it might be kind of thick if you did the heel flap where you do the slip stitches. So it's just got a stocking stitch heel.
I did slip stitches on mine.
Okay, I didn't. And then down in the bottom, I just did my own rounded toe. I didn't do whatever it said in the pattern. I think the pattern was just a wedge toe.
Yeah. And what I actually used in gram weight, and I did a size 2 for Kendall. I used 48 grams of the sock yarn and 20 grams of the mohair. So it's definitely a very yarn frugal project.
And that would be
Kendall's were a size 2. The size 2, so the second size up.
Yeah, and they are very soft. And so the pattern has this version, the version that Kelly did, that's got the rib then plain stocking stitch all the way down. And then there's another version that's just stocking stitch. You don't even do any rib at the top. And in the picture, those look kind of cool too, because you can kind of just scrunch them down to the bottom of your ankle. So I'm thinking of doing another pair just like that. Yes. They work up quick because there's a lot less stitches than regular socks.
There were only 52 stitches in the ones that I did for Kendall in the size 2. And the pattern is free, is it not?
Yes, it is.
That? Yeah, it's a free pattern. And you get 3 pairs of socks in there. So it's a great way to use up that last little bit of mohair that you have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so and I was going to bring my yarn over, but I didn't. It's amazing. Like when you look at this, my other yarn was so much, you can see so much more color in it, but then putting the mohair with it really mutes down the color. Yeah. It's a great way to use up like maybe a half a skein of a variegated yarn, because it really mutes down the variegation in the yarn color. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Okay. That's it for finishes.
Okay. That's good. You did good.
So those ones I cast on New Year's Day, because I said that is my New Year's Day project or my start, and I wanted.
They were fun. They were really fun to do, and they were fast. Like I was done them really quickly too. So all right.
Do you have any whips?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I have
How many
4.
do you have? 4? Okay, you start. I have 2.
Okay. So I've been working on my smoked orange, and I didn't get more knitting done on it, but I did get the sewing done. So I had to show you there's my shoulder seam. So they do an actual visible shoulder seam. So this is the smoked orange by
Tia Coleman.
Mm-hmm. And I am doing mine in this yarn here. It is the Fiberco Cumbria, which is a blend of mohair and wool. It doesn't say what kind of wool, but I think it's a little bit rusticy, but it's soft. And the colorway is Nutkin. It's a worsted weight yarn, and it shows off the pattern in the cardigan really nicely. So I was at the point last week, I had to do the finishing up here before I can cast on for the band. So Thea Coleman, in her Ravelry group, so I can tell you this, in a Ravelry group, because it's not a part of the pattern, she tells you how to do this seam that you can do if both your cast off edges were cast off knitwise. And I think it's a really pretty seam. Mm-hmm. Like for across your shoulder.
I really like it.
And she says she does that because this part and this part aren't perfectly the same pattern. So this way you've got this little detail in between them, because normally if the pattern continued over, I would do like a 3 needle bind off so that it kind of fell in place. But I actually really like that. And it actually doesn't look super bulky or anything on the inside.
No, it's nice. It's really nice.
So I did that on both shoulders. And then this band that goes around, you kind of had to attach it. So I've got a little bit, I'd have to fix this at the top. It's a little bit, I think a little bit of a tiny lump there, but I think once I go around and pick up stitches for the whole neck, I think that will be fine. And plus none of this is block jet either, but yeah. So now that I've got that, I need to go in, pick up for the sleeves and get it done.
Very nice.
But I am really enjoying it. So
good. Actually show another one, because I just realized I didn't have my banners made up. So I'm doing that as you're showing.
Okay. Okay. So the next one is my Dunes cardigan. Let me just find this. And this is a pattern by Kadri. I do have a picture of it so you can see what it looks like. At least I thought I did. Maybe I don't. I'll just have to show you mine. Okay. So this is the one that I'm doing in this knitted in. And this is the colorway Yarn Via. And it's kind of like a rosy brown, I don't know, really pretty, lots of little variations of color in it. And I'm holding it with Ito Sensei, which is their mohair, which is a 60% mohair, 40% silk blend. This is the colorway Coke. And together it absolutely makes this gorgeous fabric. And I have got this done too, to the point where all I've got to pick up for sleeves.
Very nice. I like that a lot. So the
color's not showing as nice on there as it really is in person, but this is one strand of the knitted in and one strand of the silk mohair. So this basically weighs nothing. Like it's so light. This one, I am doing a size medium to get an extra small.
Okay.
So the pattern gauge is 15 stitches. This gauge that I liked is 18 stitches because I didn't like the feeling. It was too thick with the 2 strands of knitted in and the mohair. So I just wanted to use the one. So my gauge was 18 stitches. I did the math, figured out if I did a size medium, it would give me the size that I wanted. So I am doing it on a 5mm needle. I believe that the pattern called for a 6mm needle with the yarn that was in the pattern. But I am really liking how this is working up and
I
the
like
gauge. And again, I'm enjoying working with the knitted in. And thank you, Candace. Candace was a viewer who sent us knitted in. I am enjoying working with it so much more than I thought I would. Like, and me, who has like no patience at all, I don't even mind unwinding it. So just
Victoria
really
is asking, how does the Ito Sensei compare to the Isayer mohair? Have you tried that
I've
one?
never used a Sayer, so I don't know. I really like it. My only one complaint is this one particular skein has had a few knots in it, which I did not like because it's a relatively expensive mohair. So, but I like, as far as the feel of it, it feels amazing, but I've never tried the Isayer. I think that's one of the things when I'm in Denmark that I'm going to look for to bring home. So, okay.
All right. So, I've actually been doing a little bit of crochet. I'm a left-handed crocheter, so I can do a little bit. And by a little bit, I really mean a little bit because I don't want to be manipulating.
But you don't want to make it worse.
I don't want to make it worse. So I do a little bit. I take a break. I might go back to it. So I'm just doing like a smaller project. So I started this one here. This is the Valia Cowl by Heidi May.
Okay.
And I do have a picture that I can show you of what it looks like, but this is not what I'm doing. So this is what the cowl looks like. It's on the bias and it's a 2-color cowl, but I'm not a huge fan of the cowl. Like, I like that kind of construction. It's one that just slides over your head. But here's what I find, like, those cowls are always quite gapey at the neck. And if I'm going to wear a cowl, it's because I want to keep my neck warm. So I don't want the cowl being wide open like that. So I decided to just switch it over and make a big cozy shawl out of this. And I'm still doing it on the bias though. And I had these 2 skeins of yarn that I got at Woolstock a while ago, and they are Gaynor Homestead. And the ball band is upstairs. Shoot, sorry. But it is their Rambouillet yarn. And this one is called Ballarock. And this one is Sleepy Sheepdog. And there's my hook. Okay, it's going to stay in there. We'll turn it this way. So these are the 2 colors. It's like a really neutral palette. This is something your daughter Jacqueline would be all over. Yeah. These are the projects. I always say I want this, but then I'm like, well, I don't want to knit with these colors because they're a little bit slow. But crochet is kind of quicker. So I cast it on 3 or 4 times because in order to get it working on the bias the way I wanted it to sit, I started out just doing it with the stripes going like sort of side to side. That wasn't working for me. It was going to be too gapey at the top. So then to go on the bias, but then I didn't want it to be the perfect triangle because then the point gets so deep, right? So I wanted it to be a little bit wider with the point being a little more shallow. So I finally found a method. I put the details in my Ravelry page. And here's where I'm at so far.
Oh, that's pretty.
So not really very pretty. Big yet, but I love
it's pretty.
Look at the stitch pattern. It's a really pretty stitch pattern. So basically what I'm using from Heidi's pattern is the stitch pattern.
The stitch pattern.
And then I'm just sort of creating my own shawl. But it's like, I think it's going to be like a super cozy. It's going to get quite big. I still have a fair bit of yarn. There is 250 yards in each skein. So I'm basically going to crochet this thing until it's done. And I'm thinking it's going to be sort of maybe night shifty size. Those shawls by the time I'm done, maybe a little smaller, but it's unbelievably soft. You cannot believe how soft this is. And I just think it'll be that great neutral shawl that I always want in my wardrobe that I think, those aren't my favorite colors to knit with, but I know I'm going to get a lot of wear out of it.
I know.
And it's really, really pretty. And I love that stitch pattern. So, and I'm using, look at me using, oops, stuck, a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook to do this with too. And so it does go along pretty quick. But again, like I said, I cannot put a lot of time into it because I don't want to fatigue my wrist, and I don't want to put any pressure on it. So poking along. Okay.
So my next whip is my Albert de Moser by Kuua Coffee. So these are these are my first socks for Christmas 2025. I got quite a bit done.
Oh, they look really good.
So there's the stitch pattern. So this
what a clever pattern.
It's a very good pattern. It's a really good pattern. And this is a free pattern. Like, she's got lots of free patterns. This one is done in West Yorkshire Spinners. This is their nutmeg colorway. This is actually a skein that I just got from the Knitting Loft on their sale. So I just got it. I think I got it December 31st, and I started this. I thought I was going to start it on January 1st. So I started this.
Yes.
So I've got the heel flap and the gusset. Well, I have got the gusset done, actually. I'm just finished the gusset.
Doing the foot?
I'm just into the foot. So it's got a like a ribbed
heel. I like that.
But there's slip stitches in it.
Yep.
So I thought that was really cool, and they've kind of
probably going to be a really well-wearing heel.
Yeah. So this is, because of all the cables, you start off, this is for one of the guys. So you start off with 72 stitches, and then you increase. So there's 84 stitches around this, around the body of this sock. But then when you go to do the heel, before you do the heel flap, you're decreased back to 36. And now that I'm working on the foot of the sock, I've got 42 stitches across the front needle for the instep, but then the back needle, because it's just in plain stocking stitch, just has 36 stitches. So then before you get to the toe, you'll decrease again before you do the toe. So
nice. Very nice.
That way, because it's obviously the texture that creates
pulls in.
Yeah, pulls in.
Yeah.
So you don't really want that many stitches across the sole of the foot. But the pattern is, so far, no complaints in the pattern. It's been easy to understand. There's a graph for the stitches, and I'm actually doing the cables without a cable needle, which is the first time I've done that with sock yarn, because it tends to be slippery. But she kind of gives you a little hint of how to do it, like putting the needle in behind. And so that will be, those have to get done in January. So we'll see.
Very good. Did you get your Ito Sensei at the Knitting Loft?
I did not. I got my Ito Sensei when I was in at the Perfect Blend in Saugerties.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Victoria was asking if we know of any Canadian retailers for the Ito Sensei. I thought
I do think they have it at the Knitting.
I think they do, Victoria.
I think they do.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Oh, also, where else did I see? I was in BC. Where was I? I can't think of the name.
If you like, I've gone in before into a Google search and just typed in like Ito Sensei Canada, and it will.
There it is. Okay, Petra's got it for me. Trendy or not in Mission, BC has it. Okay. That's right. I knew I was in BC. I just couldn't think of the name of the store. Thank you, Petra. Yes, they definitely have it. She had a good supply of it too, and she does do online sales as well. Yes. Okay. So then the next thing that I'm doing, another crochet, because why cast on one project and not finish it when you can cast on multiples? And I'm trying something different. I think I did years ago. I did a blanket like this, and it's not been my favorite thing to do, but I think I'm finally in a groove on it. But let me just pull the banner up. I'm doing an actual cardigan, also by Heidi May, the quill cardigan. And this is what the picture looks like.
Oh, that's pretty.
It is very cute. So it's color work crochet, and I was sort of complaining and griping a little bit on Saturday at the coffee shop about how I'm just not getting the yarn management of the crochet color work. So I tried one method, didn't like that. So now I'm trying a different method, and I like it finally. And I finally figured out the yarn management. I no longer have twisted yarn.
Okay.
I don't know why I couldn't get it. Maybe because it was way too late at one night to be working on it. But then the next time I sat down with it, I'm like, oh, light bulb moment. Now I've got it. And I even put in some time Google searching this. Nothing. There's nothing. So if I do decide to continue doing some crochet projects with color work and do color management, I'm probably going to put together a little video and show people how I'm doing it, because honestly, I couldn't find anything out there. But I'm dialed in now. But it is fingering weight, so it's not a fast process. But I'll show you what I have done on it so far. I'm also not convinced that it's really going to work out, just because it feels like the yoke is way too, oh, there's some of my hair. We don't need to show that. It feels like the yoke is way too ruffled, but I'm just trusting the process, because
well, you don't know until you block it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So
that's pretty. I love the colors.
Yeah, the colors are very nice. So this is yarn that I've had for a while. So I'll show you, like, this was the method I started with. Get my ends out of the way. I started actually carrying the yarn. What a nightmare. Oh my goodness. But now that I have color management down, maybe I could go back and actually do it. But the color carrying of the yarn. So no, I gave up on that. And now what I'm doing is I'm actually carrying the yarn through each stitch. And it's working. It's working so much better. And then that way you don't have floats on the, so that's the back of it. You don't have any floats. And then there, I'll just show you a little bit of a close-up, the color work.
Oh, so pretty.
It certainly looks different in crochet than it does in knitting color work. But I'm anxious to have a cardigan, and I'm anxious to have something different done than I normally do. Once the color work is a slow process though, because I am trying to hold both yarns with this cast hand. So it's a lot of stopping to switch the yarns. If I didn't have this, I think I could be a lot quicker. But the yarns that I'm using are Holst Super Soft, and this is straw.
Pretty.
And then I'm holding it with a Titicaca, and the colorway for this, I believe, is Willow, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
And then I also don't have the bands down here. I don't know where.
So what is the like? So you're using a 4-ply with the Titicaca. What does the pattern call for? Does it call for a?
She's using a Croy. She used Croy sock yarn. Okay.
Just single.
Okay. But I did a gauge swatch.
Well, Croy is more like a sport.
That's right. So that's what I was thinking. Croy's more like a sport. I know that this is going to, and I've already done a combination like this for a sweater. So I know how it feels on knitting needles. So I did have to go down a hook size to get the same gauge as her. Okay. And then this is the Rainbow Beach.
Oh, that's pretty.
This colorway is Moon Wind, I believe. And I bought this in Chilliwack last year when I was there. And I've had these yarns sitting together. It was always going to be a sweater, always. But I just didn't know what it was going to be. So I kind of looked around and I thought that I could get gauge with that. So I am using a 3.75 or an F size hook. And I do find these are the most comfortable hooks. And I've always used these for crochet hooks. I like that flat thumb hold on there, so my hand does not get fatigued at all. But anyway, that's what I'm up to. So
what brand is the crochet hook?
It's a Clover crochet hook.
Okay.
And the one that I'm missing is a 3.5. It's the only needle size I'm missing. And I just have to find a place that sells them so that I can get that, because 3.5 gets used quite a bit. And currently, I did a headband this summer, and I've got Irene's needle still. So I've got to bring that back to her when we see her in the summer too. But anyway, we'll see how this goes. But I do really like the color.
Yep.
And I think crochet is definitely going to have a different look than knitting. It's not the same. You can't compare it. It is different. But anyway, it will be something different for me and something different in my wardrobe. And so it's just going to be a crop sweater. And it will also be a good gauge for me to figure out like what kind of yardage am I looking at for a crochet project? Because yes, the pattern has the yardage. I get that. But there's a huge difference between crochet and knitting. And when I'm looking at like a sweater for myself that takes 3 skeins, well, in crochet, maybe it's going to take 4. So this is just, I kind of want to get a little bit of a, like a baseline for myself for some other crochet projects, because I do have a few other sweaters in my queue that I'm really interested to make in crochet, but a lot of the sweater quantities that I have are for lesser
Yeah.
yardage. So
Yeah.
that's why I thought, well, use up some of this because I could make a few sweaters out of this, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I've been
Okay.
working on.
So my last.
Sorry. Isabel was asking
Okay.
if I had thought about a Norwegian knitting thimble. Yes, I did, Isabel. I actually did, but I just don't think that I don't think that I can manage it on this hand with that kind of skill at this point in time. Someday when this is off and I have full use of my hands, like I said, I would be very interested to see what I could do with that sweater if I weren't hampered with the hand. I know I could be a lot quicker. I'd be a lot further along and things would be going quicker. So I am anxious to look into that a little bit further. Okay.
So the last whip is the one I started today because I had to have something to bring to the hospital to work on. So I am using this yarn. So this is Scrumptious Pearl Stripe Me Up in My Ranch, My Rules, except I'm doing them for Ross. But so I just have started. So what I'm doing is a variation of a 3x1 rib. So I'm doing a 3x1 rib, but it's 3x1, but then every 8th row I'm doing like just a 1-stitch crossover.
Nice.
So
very fun.
I love the yarn. I've worked with this yarn before. I love the yarn. I want to keep knitting on it. I'm like, no, you can't, because this is what I put aside so that when I go to the coffee shop or when I go somewhere, I have easy stuff to do. So I can't work on it. I
get that way too, though. I always start something easy that I think, oh, okay, like just some basic stripes, just something fun, but then I don't want to put it down.
Anyway, I have one whole color repeat, so I did want to see the whole color repeat.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say, do you play like those head games with yourself? I'll say, okay, well, I'll just cast on the rib, and then that way that's out of the way, and then I can knit the sock.
Well,
and then I get through that.
I'll go, well,
then
I'll
I'm
just
like,
let myself work on it for an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
And then by next Saturday, I'll have to cast on something new because they're finished.
I know. I'm exactly the same way.
So that's all that I've been working on for this weekend. Like I said, I'll show you next week, but I did get back to doing some spinning because I can have my foot down for a little bit longer. So that's been fun too. So okay. Did you have any more?
No, that's it. Judy Grayson, though, she says that she's now working on the Hibernal DK socks held with the mohair. I made those last year, Judy, and I absolutely loved them. They actually, I took those out to BC with me, and I kind of call them sometimes like I call like the socks with the mohair. I like those to be like my sock slippers. Like I often wear them in the house just for something really cozy and soft on the feet. But here's what I also found. I don't know why. I was just thinking that they're not actually to wear, because in the wintertime when I'm wearing like, my Blundstones or whatever, like the mohair is so squishy. I can easily wear those socks inside my Blundstones or just my other like my Doc Marten boots. They're easy to wear. So I wore them out a lot too. And, but I love the way they feel. Those are slipper socks.
No. These are the socks that I've been wearing on my one foot because I can't when I go outside, I can't put shoes on. I'm just like in a boot that straps over. So these are, I believe they were the Lumi socks by Fiber Tales. So they've got the cute little braid thing that comes down the back, but these have been great. So I just put them over a regular sock. This is Briggs and Little yarn held double. And so I have found that my foot stays as warm in that as having a boot on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
And even in the house, I found that now that the pins are out, they give me a little bit more support because there's a little bit more thickness to them. So yeah, they're definitely like a slipper indoor, keep you warm sort of thing. Those would not fit on inside your Blundstones. No. Over top of them, maybe.
Nancy's asking if they're slippery. Yes, Nancy, they are slippery. Yeah. So please be careful. I have hardwood all through my house. I like to skate through my house. They can be slippery. So yes, just do be careful with that. So.
Okay. Did you buy anything?
I did. I shopped. I did also. Okay. I got 2 things before I shopped too. I should show these. Well, I bought one, but then I got gifted one. I got this book actually from my daughter for Christmas. It's the Saltwater Sock book. And it's funny. I've been out there different times at the library. I've borrowed some of the saltwater books from the library, but I haven't actually gotten this book. And although it's called socks, it's so strange that it's called socks because there's hats and gloves and headbands and everything in here. So it is literally called From the Island of Newfoundland Saltwater Socks. Very strange because there are caps and mittens in here as well. So anyway, that was gifted to me from Kendall. And then when I was out west, one of the days that I got together with Darlene and June, Darlene, this is going back to our gnomes, okay? Darlene was showing me these crocheted gnomes, and I took this to a coffee shop to show off. So she got this book, and I went right ahead and ordered it. So it's another book of gnomes, but these are the crochet amigurumi gnomes, and they are so stinking cute. I will just show you the one page that has all of the gnomes on it. I really like the way the book is laid out. So there you go. Look at them. There's, I think, 15 amigurumi gnomes. So cute. And I think, whoops, these will play really well together with Nana Gnome and her friends too. But they are, I don't want to show you like a pattern or anything, but I can just show you kind of like the way the book is laid out. It's almost like a notebook style. You see how it's just got like round, 58, 59, 60. So they are, it's a really well-written book. And Darlene said that she's made, I think, one, at least maybe two of them. And she said it was a lot of fun to make. So I thought, again, just to have something different in my arsenal to do, I thought this was really fun. I did get the book on Amazon. So it is the 15 Easy Amigurumi Pattern Crochet Gnomes by, it's funny, there's no author on the name on the book. Still looking. Isn't that weird? Oh, Maria Ermolova. I'm assuming she's on the copyright page, but nowhere does it say her name in the book. But anyway, so anyway, you can find this on Amazon, and I think they're really stinking cute. Okay. And then I did get some yarn, but you did too. So you show yours first.
Okay, well, I did shop at the Knitting Loft on their sale. So I got that West Yorkshire Spinners in the nutmeg color that I started the sock with. But then I got some of this. So this is the dye gilpin. They have a great selection of dye gilpin there. This is the Lowland DK. This colorway is called, where is it? Hazelnut, which I think is really pretty. So I got a sweater quantity worth of that. And then I really wanted to try this too. They have this there, the Gelfs
tweed.
Tweed. Yes. So this is like a super dark purple, but it's got like just little flecks of like pink and blue, and it almost looks black there, but it's not. It's a dark purple. So this one is it's a sport weight. I think it's 25 stitches and 34 rows. So 190 meters and 50 grams, but I really like that. And then I really wanted to try the Gepard yarn. So this is the Gepard Wild and Soft. It is so soft. It's 40% wild tussa silk and 60% merino wool. So I don't see a color name on here. It just has a color number, which is color number 840, but it's kind of like a tealy green. And then I got, can't reach it, Bright. So I think this is called the Jelly Bean Green. This is from Sannon's Garn, and this is the Tin Peer Gint. And I've got one of my little plaid skirts is this color of green, and I want a nice sweater to go with it. So
very pretty.
So that's what I got. And I want to cast one of them on.
I shopped at the Knitting Loft too on their Christmas sale, and I can't cast any of it on at this point in time, but I can show you what I got. I got some pretty stuff. And all right. So firstly, I got, this is a Knitting Loft brand. It's their Willow base. So it's one of their house brands. And so it's sport weight as well.
Yeah, pretty.
And this one is the colorway Espresso. I just love this color. So I will have to alternate skeins. I realize that, but I don't even care. I think this is such a beautiful color. Look at that. Because it does have like you can see here in this one, there's a little bit of a dark spot.
Yep.
But I think in a sweater, I think firstly, I think the stitch definition of this yarn will be amazing. It is 100% Rambouillet, and it is so, so soft. And actually, since I'm crocheting that shawl, whatever I end up crocheting, the colors would go amazing with this.
With that,
that was
yeah.
not planned, but
Yeah.
that's a thing. And then the other thing that I bought was completely inspired by my friend June when we were out visiting out west. She had on a sweater that, and I'm trying to think what sweater was it called, the fallow sweater. She had done it in a charcoal gray.
Oh yeah, I'm going to do that one.
And it has the
With
deer.
The deer. Yep.
Yeah. And she said like she loves it. And so it's in like this charcoal, but like it had like the little like not flecks of white. What's it's like a woolly yarn. It's really, really beautiful. And it looked like red that she had in here for the deer, but it wasn't. She said it's not red. It was blood orange by Knitting for Olive. And I know that is blowing out like crazy.
Yeah.
But in her sweater, it looked totally red, and I fell in love with it. And I thought, even if I didn't do that sweater, like something where there's just like that hint at the cuffs or something, but I really did like that fallow sweater. I really did.
Tagged for my Christmas sweater for next year.
Yeah. And
I wanted to do it this year, but I just didn't have time.
Yeah. It's too bad that this is looking so orange, because it really is and so it's called blood orange, but it's very, very beautiful. So I got that. And then the other thing that I bought, just because I don't have this yarn, and I wanted to treat myself to a set from the Cozy Knitter, because I know that you've talked about how much you like the Cozy Knitter. So I bought this sock set, which is very, very pretty. It's called Spring Mist. And then lastly, I had seen some mittens made out of this, and I fell in love, and they just happened to have it. And I thought, well, since I'm shopping anyway, and this is the Lang Meal Calori socks and lace locks. So it is a sock yarn, but it's got a little bit of glitter.
Oh, okay. Pretty.
And I love the way it comes out, because it comes up like this, like random, not stripy, but like soft striping. And I loved it. And I thought, how pretty would this be to make up some fingerless gloves or whatnot to have just when you want a little bit of bling at your fingertips, right? So that's what I got from the Knitting Loft. Yeah.
I know, but I want to cast everything on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Well. Rosie said she was proud of herself not to have bought anything, but now she's having FOMO. Well, yeah, there's that. And you know what? I spent some time. So something else that I've been working on this week, because I have the time to do so, is I've been trying to catch up on my stashing of yarn, like actually photographing it and getting it into my Ravelry stash. And trust me, I have no business buying more yarn. That's what I know also. And that sort of like resets my perspective. But I was feeling really schmoopy, I'm feeling schmoopy. So I thought, well, if I can't knit with the yarn, I might as well shop for the yarn and just spend some time looking at the yarn. So that's kind of what I did. Also noteworthy, if you're feeling that you missed out on a good sale, somebody else that's having a great sale right now is Full Moon Fibers. They are having 25% off in their store right now. And also Jennifer Shields Toland is having a 25% off sale on her patterns, her best of 2024. So, and I'm pretty sure the Riptide is in there.
I think they are. I think they were.
If you have not Riptided your way through to a sweater yet, that's definitely something that you need to hop on into, because we cannot recommend that pattern enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Whoa. What a marathon.
I think, no kidding. I thought.
My goodness, this is a feature length film. We are now at 1 hour and 43 minutes. So if you are still here, and 616 of you still are,
still here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sarah says Hohi is having a pattern sale too. So yeah, all of the reasons to get out there and shop, but yeah, or just knit with this like, oh my gosh.
I know.
Even look at how beautiful that even looks together. Like, oh, I could go on, but we won't.
Okay, so I think we should go. I have rice pudding in the oven, so I need to go have some. Baked rice pudding. That's my supper.
It must smell wonderful.
So anyway, thank you everyone for joining us, and for sticking with us through this log show. So have a great week, and we hope you get lots of knitting in, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Before you say goodbye, can you switch the tab? I'm not able to switch the tab. We won't be able to sign off.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week. Happy knitting.